Good morning. Good afternoon. My name is Sanshin Oberholtzer. I'm the resident priest and guiding teacher of the Joseph Priestley Zen Sangha here in Lewisburg, Pennsylvania, and a member of the Empty Moon Teaching Circle. Here at the beginning of the first month of winter, I give you the words of Paul to the Corinthians. Behold, I tell you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. Now, was there ever a better, though perhaps unintentional, evocation of sudden awakening? And that very moment calls for hard work. Change may happen in a moment, but there's a lifetime of effort that follows. Shitao Xingquan ends his Sandokai with a suitable follow-through. I respectfully urge you who study the mystery, do not pass your days and nights in vain. Listen, if you try, you can hear the call of Handel's trumpet sounding out that moment in the Messiah that calls for both St. Paul and Shitao. And God help you if you don't hear that. Then try that old Episcopal hymn. Brightest and best of the sons of the morning, dawn on our darkness and lend us thine aid. Star of the east, the horizon adorning, guide where our infant Redeemer is laid, or at least where the Buddha sat. And yes, I know that this is a hymn meant for Epiphany and not for Advent, and certainly not for Rohatsu, but it still strikes me as appropriate for tomorrow, the first Sunday in that Christian round of holidays known as Advent, and more to our point, to those days trending towards Rohatsu, the celebration of the Buddha's enlightenment. That is, if you can wrap your minds around the idea of celebrating by sitting all night long on a cushion on the floor waiting for first light. Rohatsu, the commemoration of that long ago morning when Siddhartha Gautama, sitting beneath the Bodhi tree, looked up, saw the morning star and proclaimed, I, together with the great earth and sentient beings, simultaneously attain the way. But here it's cloudy. It's rainy, cold, damp, miserable, not cold enough to freeze the mud in my backyard, but cold enough to make you wish that perhaps it were colder. Cloud cover has blotted the sky, both by day and night. I have been unable to see any of the prophesied meteor showers or the aurora borealis, much less the morning star. The moon has become a stranger. Morning sunrise can only be taken on faith as the grayish-white fog gradually lightens without revealing even a hint of the sun. The hills have vanished with the fog. As we glide towards Christmas, I'm reminded that Jesus in the manger and the Buddha under the Bodhi tree had the advantages of a warm and temperate climate, and in each story, a clear and cloudless night, ideal for both the morning star and the Star of Bethlehem. You need clear weather to really appreciate those angels we have heard on high. Even the demon Mara and his seductive daughters required warm weather to try to tempt the Buddha from his future course. But does it really matter? Shengyan was enlightened when a tiny pebble sent flying from his broom struck bamboo with a solid thunk. It could just as easily have been an oak leaf falling soundlessly from a tree here in my backyard. The squelching of my boots walking through mud, that one single snowflake drifting down. The fields in the back were enveloped with a fog and mist of delusion. Driving across the river this morning, I was warned by a traffic signal that dense fog lay ahead, and on the bridge, the river below had vanished in the swirling banks of that fog. This is the world in which we live, not angelic choirs, not beams of light, not rainbows. No, we live and breathe in the mundane, here and now, the valley obscured by clouds. Jesus may have had magi, bringing gifts of frankincense and myrrh. We have the bearded mailman delivering yet more bills, yet more solicitations for donations. Still, he is, as Tori Zenji would point out, the Bodhisattva pointing the way to enlightenment. In his words, this is the Buddha appearing to us, finding ways to free us from our own attachments, the very ones that have made us suffer again and again and again. But even if our skies, our eyes, our minds are clouded in delusion, our understanding of the way, our enlightenment is here, not on the other side of those banks of clouds, of that dense, impenetrable fog. Don't wait for the clouds to part or the fog to lift. No, there in the clouds themselves, this very life, this fog-enveloped existence is just this. Shohaku Okumura tells us that no matter how hard we practice, our motivation for practice is always based in some amount of self-centeredness. The act of truly seeing this self-centeredness is itself Buddha. To awaken to the reality of our delusion is itself Buddha. To realize delusion is to be a Buddha. Awakening to the incompleteness of our practice and returning to our path is the meaning of repentance, of atonement. Rohatsu is celebrated in East Asian traditions on the 8th day of the 12th month, the date fixed during the Meiji Restoration in Japan to align the Japanese calendar with those of the Western powers. Prior to that, the 12th month was the 12th lunar month. So I wonder, without knowing it, if, like the Islamic Ramadan, the celebration rotated through the year. Observed sometimes in winter, sometimes in spring, summer, or fall. I like to think that the Buddha was able to sit without frost on a warm Indian night, that he had the real chance to gaze up at the end of that long night and see Venus twinkling on the horizon, unobscured by clouds. Here is his story, told by that collector of enlightenment tales, the monk Keizan Jokin. Shakyamuni Buddha was descended from the Sun lineage in India. At the age of 19, he left Kapila Palace at midnight for Mount Dantokudzans, where he cut off his hair and renounced the world. Then he began 6 years of ascetic practices. After that, he sat on the diamond seat in ultimate samadhi, where spiders spun webs between his eyebrows and magpies built nests on his head. Reeds pierced his lotus posture for another 6 years. On December 8th, during his 30th year, he attained enlightenment when the morning dawned. The words, "I, together with the great earth and sentient beings, simultaneously attain the way," are his first lion's roar. But warm Indian dawn or foggy Pennsylvanian morning, none of these externals matter. Bright, starlit night, brilliant, radiant dawn, dense, impenetrable fog, our awakening, as Siddhartha's awakening, are all present. A perhaps apocryphal Italian friar, Fra Giovanni Giacondo, might have the last word in his Christmas message to a perhaps equally apocryphal countess. The gloom of the world is but a shadow. Behind it, yet within our reach, is joy. There is radiance and glory in the darkness, could we but see, and to see We have only to look. And so I greet you, not quite as the world sends greeting, but with profound esteem and with a prayer that for you, now and forever, the day breaks and the shadows flee away.